Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and in this video we're breaking down why the ending of Penguin was perfect. Closing out with the rise of the villain, it really brings things full circle. I know a lot of people are shocked at how it's gone, but personally, I think the ending was spot on. The Penguin's one of comics' most famous villains, and it was only ever gonna go one way. Now what this also is a story of the class struggle, not only in terms of him rising through the ranks of the mob, but also just in general. Looking at Oz's childhood, he was the second class son that was basically the runt of the litter. Describing what he has as a bum knee, Oz shouldn't have succeeded in life. However, what he's done is never let that hold him back. Oz is someone who refuses to be weak, and this is something we saw in every walk of his life. If you cast your mind back to episode 1, there was a great moment when he got on the subway. Oz looked down at the empty disabled seats and he refused to sit down. That told us everything we needed to know and how determined he was to prove people wrong. Throughout the season, we've seen as he's killed and taken people out who have slighted or disrespected him. This all began with Alberto, who he murdered for calling him the Penguin. In his childhood, we saw that he also killed his brothers. Inside the episode explained that he did this because he felt slighted, as his brothers knew he couldn't go down there. This disrespect is also why he betrayed Sophia as well. After warning her about talking to a journalist, we watch as she mocked him and called him the Penguin. Oz then sold her out to her father, and this gave him a position in the inner circle. So he's clearly being completely ruthless when it's come to people that he feels wronged him. This dog-eat-dog mentality's taken him to the top, and it also explains why he killed Victor. Oz knows that family makes him weak, and he's seen how people will turn on their masters. This is demonstrated by the other gang underlings who all rise up and kill the higher ups. They've all been people that have been stepped over and have come to take what's theirs. I believe Oz worries that Victor will do this, as it's something he's done himself. He knows it's the natural order and that eventually Vic will turn on him. Oz is someone who caused the death of his brothers, and as someone like Vic was always going to be someone he could throw away. As Francis said,
"I got the devil in my house,"
which I feel is very poignant when you look back at the season. Here is someone who will take what he feels he's owed and will screw over anyone who gets in the way. Now in his mind, he made a promise to Francis and also has to drag her through that as well. This even overrides him learning she was going to have him killed as a kid and then stabbing him in the gut as he was strapped to a chair. One thing Oz is great at is lying, and in the end he even does this to himself. At the hospital, he told Vic Sophia stabbed him, and it's something I think he's genuinely started to believe. This lie and fantasy is all that he lives in, and he has Eve dressed up as his mother. Dancing with him like the pair have done throughout the season, she tells him all the things he wanted to hear. All the while, his real mother's stuck in bed looking out over the city. In her final moment, she told us she hated him and delivered this devastating line:
"You're the devil. You're the goddamn devil."
I think that tear we see rolling down her face sums up how much she regrets how it's turned out. That night at Monroe, she made a deal with the devil, and as with all Faustian deals, it's turned out badly. Francis begged him to kill her if she ever got in this state, and now she's stuck like this until the day she dies. All the while, Oz is slowly dancing in the main room, pretending he's living the life that he promised to give her. It really is torturous, but you have to remember, Francis is a monster as well. She wanted to have her son killed for what many would chalk up as an accident. Though Oz didn't tell his mother, I am still in the camp that he couldn't have known his brothers would drown. The rain came in, and he may have assumed the sewers could have handled it, or at the very least the boys could have found another way out. So personally, I think though he was bad, there is still a benefit of the doubt that he wasn't intentionally planning on killing them. Instead, it's Francis who's fostered this monster, which is something Rex told her to do. At the apartment, he said a kid like that could be used because of his devotion to her. So she had a hand in this as well, and is truly getting what she deserves. Now who else I feel got what they deserved is Sophia. I know people kind of paint her out as a bit of a heroic figure who's standing up to the people that wronged her. That mentality starts to fall apart though when we see what she did to Gia. Sophia knew exactly what was happening and that she was damning her to a fate akin to her own. She'd seen firsthand what institutions like this were like, and they deliberately had the home displayed in a similar way. Turns out the exact same set was used for both Arkham and Brookside, so it's basically highlighting what Sophia was doing. She was damning someone else to suffer the same fate, so it makes sense she'd end up back in hell.
You're going to hell.
In the Batman, we had Riddler leaving a note for Batman after he attempted to kill Bruce. This said, "See you in hell," and in the Batman, Riddler also said this:
"I told you I'd see you in hell."
So Sophia, like Francis, is stuck in her own personal hell now. It makes sense that Oz was referred to as the devil, as he's the one who's now doomed them to this fate. However, she has a ray of hope that comes in the form of a letter from Selena. Everyone abandoned Sophia in her life, and all her family turned against her except for Alberto. He was killed though, and thus she was truly alone. It highlights she has someone from her family who knows what she's been through, and that she isn't the monster she's been painted out to be. This is a juxtaposition to Oz though, who at this moment is truly alone. His mother betrayed him, and though Eve is playing her, we know that she also betrayed him as well. Back at her apartment, she sold out Oz to Sophia, and this led to her capturing her mother. This made everything fall apart, and thus Eve is the straw that broke the camel's back. I do think that Oz will find out as well, as he managed to cover his tracks pretty well. He'd hid his mother away for years, and everyone thought she was dead. On top of this wasn't a location anyone was aware of outside of a select few, so he must have known that there was a leak, and that it has to have been someone close to him. Vic was someone that wouldn't betray him, and thus all it really leaves is her. Let's be honest, he isn't exactly the sentimental type either, and I can't see him being against killing her either. He's already shown how he views family, and yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting development. Now, rising through the criminal empire also makes Oz realize he needs to take a new route. Going to City Hall, we clearly see how he's now enamored with his life. Looking up to Bella Real, you can take this as him seeing who's really at the top. Haiti managed to turn the power back on at Crown Point, and it's these people that really run the city. So I feel like Oz is taking the next step, which is gonna involve him becoming the mayor. That's something that happens in the comics with Oz running to gain the position. They adapted it for the 66 show and Batman Returns, and will likely also do it in this universe. I think Oz realized that's the way to make it to the top, and in the end that's where the true power lies. He's someone who's managed to achieve what he wanted, but he's likely aware this has left him alone. For decades he's been fighting for him and his mother, but in the end this has just left him unhappy. Here he is dancing in his room, trying to force himself to see this as reality. Eventually though, the kind words and flattery from Eve will wear off, and he'll have to see things for how they really are. Thus he'll need something else to aspire to, and I think that's what it's gonna be. I also think deep down that Oz is something he needs to prove to himself. He wants to show everyone they were wrong, but the only way to do this is to prove that to himself. Thus rising up and becoming the mayor of Gotham might be something he finally sees as being at the top. That's why the ending is so perfect, because we know deep down that even if he achieves it, which he likely will, Oz will never be happy. No matter what he does or the life he leads, he's always going to be stuck in this personal hell. He's truly unable to ever be happy because everything he's done has been built on lies. He lied to his mother that his brothers were out at the cinema, and lied to everyone that he's ever been friends with. He lied to Eve and lied to Vic, and will likely lie in order to get in power. I mean, that's part and parcel of being a politician. Beyond that though, Oz will never be happy, but he'll be forced to lie to himself and say that he is. He'll have all the materialistic things he's ever wanted, and have people he pays to appear a certain way. This is all hollow and shallow though, and not something you really want. Penguin will be seen as the leader of hell, but all in all that just makes him the devil. Though Penguin will have won, in many ways he'll have also lost himself. He'll have nothing of value and just be completely alone. He might as well just be dancing in that penthouse by himself, and we also know it's not gonna last forever. The bat signal shines highly in the sky in an angelic way, and it lets us know that Batman's coming for this devil. Whether you'd rather serve in heaven or rule in hell's another thing, but in the end I just can't see how this guy ends up having a happy life. It's all just an act which is summed up by the dancing, and that symbolically is the perfect way to top off the season. It makes for what I think's an incredible ending, and I hope you guys have enjoyed us going through too, as it's been a blast breaking down the season. Please drop a like on the video as well, and if you want to support the channel as a member of the Spoiler Society, then please click the join button. You'll get early access to videos every week like this, and it goes such a long way towards helping these get made. If you want to get some heavy spoilers merch as well, we've also got a "If You're Gonna Spoil a Movie, Warner Brother t-shirt," which is linked right below. It all goes towards helping videos like this get made, and huge thank you to everyone who's picked one up. We drop new designs on there all the time too, like our Alien Chestburster one, Sith Happens, the Pick Up a Penguin one, and many more. So huge thank you if you picked one up, and if you want something else to watch, we've got a breakdown on the screen right now. There we go, in depth on the Penguin finale, so if you've enjoyed this video, please go and watch that. But out of the way, huge thank you for sticking through this video. I've been your host Paul, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.